Academy of Biotechnology. We're here for the Academy of Biotechnology's Parent Information Night. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk first a little bit about the history of the career clusters, of which the Academy of Biotechnology is one, and then we'll be moving a little bit into the specifics of our program. So first off, going into a little bit of history. So about 15 years ago, Montgomery County commissioned a special study. The central office had recognized that throughout the county we had very high graduation rates and very high test scores. And so one of the things we wanted to see is, did that translate into success for our students after they left high school? So what they did is they decided to track students who went into 2-year and 4-year institutions to see, did they complete those programs? And then those of students that went directly into careers, they wanted to see how long did they last in those careers, and did they move up in those careers and stay with those careers. And what they found was that by and large our students were successful at the top, given our high scores. So one of the things that they did is they wanted to look at what were the things that seemed to make students successful. What were the things that when they tracked them seemed to lead to higher levels of success. What they found was that students who had had exposure, whether it was from field trips or from internships or from guest speakers, had exposure to the careers that they entered. Those were the students that tended to be more successful and stay in those careers, whether it was in college or directly into the workplace. So one of the things that MCBS decided to do is they decided to set up this whole career lattice, this framework where each school, they looked at the surrounding communities and looked at what businesses are and what infrastructure are present, and to set up these special academies in each of those schools. So here in Northwest, Birmingham, we have this wonderful biotech community with all these different organizations, and so they set up the Academy of Biotechnology. That's the history. So what goes into our program are these 3 different parts of the model. So rigor, relevance, and relationships. And these 3 things together provide high level of engagement for our students as they move forward. So some of the benefits that students get from the program is that our classes are very college and graduate level in terms of experience, skills, study, presentation, etc. I was just talking to some of our officers, and they were saying one of them was asked to speak at a conference earlier, and someone was like, we'll have her right now. She's like, oh no, I'm fine. I can speak in front of people all the time now. And so that's one of the things. We also have a lot of opportunities because the program recommends that students complete college level and AP courses. That goes along with it. We have a lot of students doing internships at everywhere from the Howard Hughes Medical Institute to NIH to Walter Reed and many other places. And then most recently, we started working with the state of Florida as this the Biotechnician's Assistance Credentialing Exam. Maryland is looking into setting that up for the state of Maryland. Last year we piloted a practice within the course, and one of our students actually passed. The pass rate is very low, and they're looking to choose the test. But I'm meeting in 2 weeks with the committee to begin looking into altering our curriculum to match that test a little bit more, so that our students, when finishing the program, could be credentialed to work in lab and get paid for it. So that's pretty cool. So one of our recommendations, so most of you, raise your hand if your child is a 9th grader. 10th grader? 11th grader? 12th grader? Alright, so we're across the board. So one of the things we recommend for those of you who are 9th graders, you guys are already started the curriculum of your child for this year. So if they're only in biology or physics, what I recommend is try to get your kid next year signed up for the other 2 core science classes. So if they're biology, try to get them signed up for chemistry and physics next year. If they're physics, try to get them signed up for biology and chemistry next year. And the reason we recommend that is that we want for junior year, if we can, to have them set up to speak molecular biotechnology. That's the capstone course. And that's especially useful because they take that junior year, they have all the experience and lab skills necessary to be really, really, really competitive if they want to apply for internships, which they can do through our fantastic internship program their senior year. But that's not something they have to do. They don't have to do it in that order, but it's recommended. So for those of you who are sophomore or junior parents who already don't have it set up that way, it's fine. You can still fulfill the requirements. I'll go through what those are in a moment. So as mentioned, 9th or 10th grade, we want to get certainly biology and chemistry and then hopefully physics. Now, while physics isn't necessarily required for the program, we do recommend it. And if your child isn't able to take physics or isn't interested, they must at least take another AP science elective to fulfill the state requirement for an NGSS course. Because physics is one of those, and so are all of our AP science electives. So if they don't take physics, one of the other courses they take must be one of our AP science electives. Then during their junior and senior year, as I mentioned, there's a double period molecular biotechnology course. That's our capstone course, so that's certainly required. And then 2 additional credits, and this is your blue paper, from any number of advanced science classes. So this can be AP Biology, we cover for both of them, as with AP Chem, because it's 2 credits. Any combination of AP Environmental Science, AP Physics, Anatomy and Physiology, or Forensics, or did I say AP Environmental Science yet? Okay. So any combination of those is each 1 credit, would end up giving you the 2 credits for advanced science beyond the molecular biotechnology class. And then finally, any courses at MC or any internship would also fulfill that final requirement. Okay? Now, one other thing I want to mention is the molecular biotechnology course is advanced, and so most of the students who complete the academy will also go on to complete ACES, the ACES program. All right, so what kind of things do they get from being inside the academy and inside of the molecular biotechnology course beyond what they might get simply from doing ACES or some other set of advanced science courses? So all the students in the course and in the program will develop strong teamwork skills. So they work a lot together in groups and in preparing for live group meetings, doing journal clubs. So they research literature, analyze it, and present it to one another. We go all the way through all different types of lab math, pipetting, ELISA, tons of lab techniques. And by the end of it, they have a really thorough lab journal with all the different skills they've developed. And then should they go to an interview, they can present and say, I can do all these skills. I can work for you. What do you want? In terms of relationships, outside of the class, we have the student association. So we just had our first meeting this past Friday. We're having a next lunch and learn tomorrow at lunch. We have Starfleet Service Dogs, which is a local and national service dog training organization. The CEO is coming to speak to us, and she's going to bring a few dogs and talk about the training process. We have many different groups. I'll talk more about that in a minute when we come and speak. We have meetings at least once a month. They're not mandatory, but they're all filmed in case you miss it and you'd like to see it. I'll talk a little bit more about that process in a moment. Our website, which is on your brochure, it's on the front of the brochure, www.nwhsaob.com. All of the information for the Academy can be found on there. In addition, it has a calendar, so any upcoming events, for example, tonight's event was on there. All of the videos that we filmed, so like tonight's event for those who are making tonight, will be able to watch that online should they want to. In addition, any of these forms, any forms that any Academy members need access to are also on the website. All right, field trips. We try to do at least 3 field trips a year. This year, so far, we have planned to go to NIH, Walter Reed Army Institute of Research, and Emergent Biosolutions. And it'll be our first time going back to Emergent Biosolutions in several years because they had a renovation, so we weren't sure of the safety of bringing people on campus. So it's now done. So we're very excited about that. As I mentioned that. And then we're looking also into potentially going to visit Pastor Duncan. In terms of lunch and learns, again, these are about once a month. And they are dates. There are open dates, so if any of you would like to speak, or if you know anyone who would like to speak, you're welcome to send them our way. Each of our officers coordinate each of those. You're welcome to email myself or them. Again, we have many of them set up, and you can see all of them on the calendar. And this is Spock. And this is Jenny, the CEO from Starfleet Service Dogs. So if you're ever trying to figure out when a lunch and learn is, if you go to the calendar on the website and you click on any of the lunch and learns, there'll be a little description. So this is Jenny Barnhart is coming to show off how one trains service dogs! Exclamation mark. This is a previous lunch and learn from February 2018. A group of scientists came from Walter Reed and they showed off some critters. So that was kind of hands-on and fun, or terrifying, depending how you feel about tarantulas. So I mentioned Emergent Biosolutions, that we're going to be visiting them later this year. They are our business partner, so every year they've been very generous. They donate lots of things. They bring us guest speakers, career panels, etc. Most recently, they bought us a really fancy thermocycler this last year, which we're excited to play with. So these are just a few little testimonials. All right, this is the big one. This is if there's nothing else new that you take away from today. This one is something that I really want you all to be aware of. So this is the thing we're starting for the first time this year. We're hoping it'll be successful. I have very strong feelings about it. Our officers have put in a lot of work into preparing this. We're trying to get 30 to 40 different organizations in the area to come and table for us. They'll be in the cafeteria between 7 and 8:30 on November 20th. So please, all of you guys should come, and you should definitely spread the word. This is going to be a really cool event. So all these organizations are going to come to the table. They're going to talk about the types of careers they have at the organization, the type of work that's being done at the organization. It'll be a fantastic opportunity both for networking, whether or not you're old enough for there, because some individuals don't come to your team. But all of you will be 18 eventually. So it's a wonderful opportunity to network. And also, if nothing else, to find out about some possible careers down the line. Any questions? I know it's been a mouthful. Okay.
So open for the 9th graders also.
It's absolutely open for 9th graders. Yes. Yeah. That's one of the reasons it being a program is we want to make sure that even though the capstone course is until junior or senior year, all of these opportunities for exposure are open to anyone who wants to be involved. Any other questions? It'll be kind of late, so I feel bad having the students walk here at that time. Say that. Please come.
To be eligible for internship, you would have to be a senior.
Sorry, one more time?
For juniors, everybody is eligible to get an internship. Only seniors.
So internships are, so there's different types of internships. Summer internships, theoretically anyone's eligible. In terms of being able to do a half-day schedule and do an internship in the afternoon through the internship program, that's a senior. Okay. But people apply to it during their junior year. So for example, I always try to do at least one of our field trips to NIH or Walter Reed in the fall, just in case one of our members goes to one of those field trips, makes a connection during the trip, and ends up doing an internship their senior year through one of those organizations. But in terms of for this fair, that's also why I have this in the fall. So again, so if juniors want to apply to the internship program to then do that their senior, they can. But similarly, some of these are available for summer internships for anyone. But on the flip side, some are only available for people once they turn 18 for liability reasons. So even for seniors at that point, that can be an opportunity. Yeah.
So I understand the NIH is biotechnology, but Walter Reed, that's the hospital?
Yeah, so Walter Reed Army Institute of Research.
Yeah, or is
So that's in Silver Spring. Yeah. So one of the field trips we've done for the last 2 years is we actually split up. So the 9th and 10th graders go and do a hands-on lab activity where they have like kind of a learning center there. And then the juniors and seniors go into the facilities and they are giving presentations from doctors and researchers there. So that's pretty cool. I don't know.
what about
You guys don't know university about that?
I made lots of connections. Good networking.
She loves neurology and she came back with a CD.
Hey Corey, Nate, can you tell Corey to come up to the volleyball, please?
any connection with the local universities like Georgetown?
We have some, yeah. Yeah, they can. Do you have any connections to any of these?
I'm sorry?
Do you have any connections to these?
No, I don't. I would like to.
Okay, cool. Any other questions? Well, if at any point you have any questions, just raise your hand. All right, so this schmancy lab coat that I'm modeling for you tonight, these are new, they're now in, so if you're interested, feel free to come and ask later and we can talk more about this. The metals, we have these consistently now, so I spoke about this to your children on Friday and for some today. The video for that will be online, but basically, in addition to the Academy's course requirements, you can finish the Academy with excellence if they complete a certain amount of category credits. These aren't course requirements. This is an extra thing. And again, this is something that's online that I've spoken to them about. If you have any questions, you can ask them. But basically, this is where graduation is taking. All right, so officer positions. So we've increased. This is only one of our few changes this year. We now have 3 vice presidents who are in charge of social outreach and planning. So they're who run our Twitter, our Instagram, our Remind, and our Google Classroom. We have 3 who are in charge of documentation. We're trying to be much better about getting our stuff online faster. So for example, we have Laura on the back here. And her and Ojis and Rana are working together to make sure we get all of our footage from every event edited and put online quickly. We have our 2 Vice President 3s who are in charge of fundraising and ordering and event planning. And so that's Via Golden, Maria, Maria. And Ananda is one of our VP1s of social outreach and planning. And then Mayhol is one of our examples of our Vice President of data analysis. So they help me keep track of what our different members are interested in, so we can make sure that we have different types of events that cater to the needs of all of our people. All right, so these are their wonderful faces. This is the website. All right, any questions? Yeah.
Students part of Ulysses program, they're still eligible to join this.
I believe they are now, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they need to start in 9th grade.
They do not need to start in 9th grade. Again, if you start 9th grade, you're open to all these opportunities and exposure from 9th grade, but we've had people join junior year. Yes. The way I often describe the program, it's kind of like the equivalent of a college major. There's no gate. We try to make sure that everyone is welcome. But in order to complete the program, there are specific things you need to complete in order to say I've completed the academy.
So when they start in junior year, they need to have completed the order physics, biology, and
Well, no, they could have, if they, for example, if they enroll in molecular biotechnology junior, and then they're like, oh, I like this class. Why am I not in the academy? They still have another year that they could fill any remaining. Does that answer your question? Any other questions? Okay.
Are those field trips during the school day?
They are.
So they're excused from the classes?
Yes. Only if you get credit for it. So because the way the course requirements work is they're courses, and so that's a state level thing. You have to fulfill certain course requirements. So there are, I don't know if it's ever been set up here, but there are in some places ways to get course credit for a summer internship. Again, I don't know if we've solidified that happening at Northwest yet.
So the summer internships are like full day, also, or like depends on
It
the.
totally varies from internship to internship. Because some are paid, some are just service. Yeah.
Different way. So what kind from career standpoint, is it mostly like biotechnician or like
All-
pre-med or research?
all across the board.
All of it.
Yeah. Anything in the biomedical, engineering, research, even financial field. If you think about one of these organizations, one of these big companies, they have all different types of jobs in them involved. And so one of the things we try to do in the program is give exposure to a wide variety of what are all the different pieces that come together to make these organizations work.
Do you have, like, the field is changing rapidly, so do you keep up with it or you
Yes.
stick with the curriculum?
So for example, one of the things that we started instituting 2 years ago, are you in the field at all? So for example, we're studying DNA. Historically, a lot of places use became bromide, which is very carcinogenic, and so we would never use it in school. So what we used instead was bromothymol flu, I believe. But it's not a very strong stain. It's not very effective. So more recently, the industry standard is starting to become gel red, which is like athenium bromide in the way that it binds, but it's too large for it to be able to permeate the cell membrane, and so it's not toxic at all. And so we use gel red in our labs now. So we try to stay very current. We want to make sure that when people come here into any workplace, they won't look much different. We don't have $50,000 machines, but short of that, yeah. Wonderful question. Any others?
Helpful if any of those people learning the students from completed internships to share their
Yeah, if you guys want to answer any questions or share.
what kind of projects they did and
Okay, any questions for us? Expert
So
testimonial?
these 3 have taken the course already. Maria's still in it, Laura's in it, and Mabel are in it. So these 3 probably have the best.
project the internship here. that? And did you get
And I actually volunteer with them on a weekly basis now. And as I read through the course, I learned more and more about biotechnology, and it gave me a great glimpse into what my future in hopefully marine biology will be, like researching and learning lab skills that will help me later on.
what's been about the lab?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, so I had kind of a similar experience, except I wanted to go the medical route. So being in Academy Biotech actually helped me get an internship at the R. Adams Cowley Shock Trauma Center in Baltimore. So I volunteer, intern there every week. And I did that over the whole summer. And basically stuff we learned in this class actually helps a lot. Even if your child doesn't want to go into science or biotechnology, fine, I can verify with my sister because she passed with the academy. And she didn't really think that she wanted to do science. And she's studying business right now in college. But she went through the whole academy and she's using stuff from your course in her college classes right now in their business courses. So it's more, I was talking to him earlier about this, it's more of the skills you learn in the class than the actual science behind it. Because I can verify right now, I take classes at Montgomery College nearby. My professor's actually impressed with me because I'm using all of our skills from that class. Like today we had to do a lab report, and I was going over in depth with detail, something he drilled into us, and none of the kids in my class were doing it. And then he was like, and I had like full detail, and he's like, whoa, 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 like, Jenna, you don't need to do that much detail. And I'm like, thank you. Like, it was great. Yeah, so it's just, like, you're going to stand out amongst your peers, and that's one thing.
Why did it happen in MC squared?
I'm not an MC squared, but I'm doing, in your senior year, you can do like a half-day schedule and take classes at college.
So yeah, over the summer I did a research internship at UPenn, so I actually commuted with them, and I did a lot of lab work there. And the skills that I learned in biotechnology, like the class, molecular biotechnology, actually utilized a lot in the lab there, because a lot of the other like high school students like me didn't really get any prior like lab experience or exposure to that. And being in the class like really helped me with some basic skills that you wouldn't think are like they're easy to pick up on, they're easy to learn. But it's like pipetting and like writing your lab notebooks, writing up reports, making everything in depth, which is like things you wouldn't really consider that make a like big difference in your data and stuff like that. So I also did get invited because my mentor was like pretty impressed with like how I was like handling the data. So she invited me to come back next summer. And I also volunteered over the summer at Holy Cross Hospital, and they offered me a half-day schedule this year, so I would like the second half of the day to go to Holy Cross Hospital.
What kind of lab you get in? Is it biochemistry, molecular
So I actually worked in the veterinary department, and they were doing research on the microbiome, and like they were testing cows, so dairy calves, and like how they can reduce methane emissions, and like how that relates to like farmers, like their like the agriculture aspect and like the economy and stuff.
And one of the things that I often like to do with them is anytime they give a presentation, I put a sound meter on my phone. And so the part of their score is how loud they can be when they're presenting. Because one of the things that people often say is that public speaking is terrifying. And so I want to make sure that even when someone from an audience calls them on the spot to come and speak, whether or not they're prepared, to feel comfortable doing how you guys.
Yeah, that's another thing. Before taking the class, I was kind of timid. Like I always prepare like extensively. Not that you shouldn't prepare extensively before presenting, but I would do that all the time. And then after taking the class, it's like I felt like I'm more comfortable in front of like presenting in front of an audience, which is obviously like an essential skill in your career anyway.
Mr. Silver's class helped me learn that if I know the information that I'm doing, like I should be scared or something.
Yeah, definitely improves your presentation.
So for a ninth grade to start with, how engaging is it? Like how many times a week do you spend time with or which?
Oh, it's not that much of a time commitment as a freshman. We have, again, it's kind of like there's a lot of opportunities. We have field trips, we have lunch and learns, etc. It's really not until the capstone where you're in the class every day. It's up until that point where there's a lot of opportunities and they're posted on the classroom, on the remind, on the calendar, on all three places. And I found you can see more to our process for communicating with you but making sure that they have that exposure should they want it. But we're not demanding that they come to every event. Yeah.
So I don't have to take visits before I take class. I don't have to take visits before I take class. I can take.
You can take them concurrently. We have a lot of students who do that. So the question was whether or not you have to take physics before taking molecular biotechnology, or can you take them concurrently, and you can take them concurrently. All right, the last slide I have for you guys is not this Tuesday, although if you go this Tuesday, you'll be actually supporting one of my other programs, for SW. But if you go next Tuesday, 17th, that's where we're having our Academy of Biotechnology fundraiser. The money that we get from this goes towards helping to subsidize field trips. This money is going to be used to help us to be able to pay for all of our medals. It's generally my belief I don't want there to be any barriers for anything within the program, so I try to make sure as many things in the program are free as possible. So again, I haven't ever charged for the medals or for the awards at all. Most of that comes from our fundraising. Similarly, I always try to subsidize field trips as much as I can from the fundraising and from grants. I've applied for grants. So please come to the fundraiser next Tuesday. Bring your friends, bring your family, and make sure when you go to the cash register, you tell the person at the register that you're here for the fundraiser. Because 33% of the proceeds will go to us. I'll be here the whole time, so you can say hi, and I'll say hi back. And when you get to talk a little bit, they had this cool idea for a raffle.
So we actually have this idea of having a raffle. So for each person that your child brings, they actually get their name put again in the raffle prize. And it's actually just a way for us to get the most attendance. Because again, we do need a lot of money. So basically, for each person that they bring, we add their name depending on how many people they bring. So if I brought 5 people, then my name will be entered 6 times, including myself. And then at the end, we'll do a quick raffle, and we'll have 3 winners. The top winner will get a lab coat, which she's displaying. Yeah, it's really nice. And then the other 2 winners will win a shirt of their preference, short sleeve or long sleeve. So come on.
And for all the free trips and etc., how much did it cost?
For what?
Cost overall, expenditure.
Throughout the program?
Yeah, for the program.
So it depends. So we're waiting to hear back from a Pell Grant for our field trip this year. If the Pell Grant comes through, everything this year will be free. So that's always my goal. Like I said, I don't
the next
really.
4 years the academy runs for.
So our field trips again, most would come to every field trip. And some of them have amount, but we've never run out. So if you came to every field trip, we have 3 a year. I don't think we've ever charged more than $20. So it'd be $60 a year times 4 years, $240. But I'm telling you, I don't think they're going to cost money this year. Don't hold me to it, but I'm hoping that the Telegram, I'm told that it looks like it's going to go through. So 180, and then it just depends if you end up buying a T-shirt or not, or if you want to do a raffle. But we don't need the T-shirt. So it's one of the things I'm proud of is that we try to have it very accessible to everybody. So long as people really like Chipotle. They're not paying me to say this.
Field trips in the bus or not?
It's bus, yes. Any other questions? Well, I'd like to thank you all for coming. Feel free to come up and talk to any one of us. That's other further questions someone wants. I'm very reachable by email. And my email is on the brochure. If you don't have the brochure, it's on there. It's also on the school website. So thank you all for coming.